Are you thinking of buying a house in 2024? With the current housing market, price of houses fluctuating, the current interest rate, and also the cost of living going higher, it's more crucial than ever to have a solid financial plan before you decide to buy a house. But don't worry, I've got your back. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the 12 important rules you need to follow when buying a house to ensure you don't go broke buying a house this year. Trust me, these tips are going to protect your finances and help you make informed financial decisions. Without further hesitation, let's get right into it. The first rule is to not buy the most expensive house that you qualify for. So let me take it back a bit. So assuming from the calculations you're doing online and your mortgage in principle, you're told that the bank can loan you up to £300,000 like towards a house. It doesn't mean you should actually buy a house that is £300. You can buy a house that is less than that. You know, typically the banks are going to loan you between 4 to 4.5. Some might do 5 times your current salary. So let's make it practical. So assuming your salary is £50,000 and then the bank says the most they can give you is going to be £250,000, which is what? 5 times your salary, because 5 times 50,000 is 250,000. It's in your best interest not to go and buy a house that is exactly £250,000, because even though they looked at your finances on paper, they did not think about your lifestyle. Like, they don't know if you have plans to be traveling twice a year or you want to be traveling 3 times a year. So you don't want to take a house that is going to eat so much into your disposable income that you don't have money to afford the lifestyle that you want. So let me also make it a bit more practical. So the house I currently live in, I think I was qualified to buy a house of, like, let's say £600,000, but the house we bought is nowhere near that price, because we know we need to have wiggle room in our monthly income to be able to do other things. So we went for a house that is much lower than what we most qualify for. So once again, don't go for the most expensive house or the most expensive loan amount that you qualify for. Keep it under that amount. It's going to help you with your disposable income on a monthly basis. The second rule is to stick to the 28 to 30% rule. Now, this rule, what it says is when you're buying a house, your monthly outgoing, so your spend on the mortgage repayment every month, should not be more than 28 to 30% of your monthly gross income. Okay, but then with the current interest rates on the market and also how expensive things are, this might not be realistic. However, it can serve as a guide for you. So when you're looking at, if you take out this mortgage, how much are you going to be paying back every month? It's good to use this 30% as a baseline, so you know how far away you are from that or how close you are to it. Okay, I'm actually like fortunate, so my housing cost actually takes less than 30% of our combined gross income. Okay, that's my husband and I. It takes up less than that, which means we have money to do other things that we want to do and other things that matter to us. So it might not be realistic, trust me, I know it might not be realistic for everyone. But point is, when you have this number at the back of your mind, it helps you know just how far away you are from this baseline, and also helps you kind of like picture how this is going to impact your disposable income on a monthly basis. The third rule is to save a bigger deposit. Now, I know that currently in the UK, there's even the £5,000 buy scheme where you just put £5,000. I think it's Skipton Building Society that provides that. However, what you need to know is that the bigger the deposit that you have, the better the interest rates you're going to get. So someone who has a 5% deposit and someone who has a 10% deposit are not going to get the same interest rate. And also someone who has a 15% deposit is not going to get the same interest rate as someone who has a 20% deposit. So as much as possible, aim for at least 10%. I mean, with a 5% deposit, you can buy a house, right? But at least a 10% deposit, just so you get better interest rates and so that your mortgage repayment is like affordable, because the higher the interest rates, the higher the amount you're going to be paying back to the bank every single month. I mean, there's some tools or some resources you can use to save faster, such as using a high yield savings account, a cash ISA, and most importantly, a lifetime ISA. I'm going to do a detailed video on my experience using a lifetime ISA, also walk you through everything you need to know about it, and also if it's worthwhile for you. So make sure to hit the subscribe button so when I post that video, you're notified about it. Once again, need to put the disclaimer here, this is not financial advice. This is me just providing information so you can then make an informed decision that is specific to your circumstance. Rule number 4 is to budget for additional costs aside from the deposit. I think one of the shockers for me was when we decided to buy a house, realizing that beyond the deposits, there are other things I need to save for. Okay, there's solicitor fee. That alone is a lot of money. In some cases you might have to pay stamp duty, not everyone, but in some cases depending on the price of the house, and if you're a first time buyer you might have to pay stamp duty. So like there are several other costs. There's a mortgage product fee. I mean, I think I already have a detailed video explaining all the costs associated with buying a house. You should check that out, but you definitely want to budget for that. So you need to budget like 1 to 6% of the purchase price. So whatever is the price of the house you're looking to buy, you should have an extra 1 to 6% saved up for the additional cost that you're going to incur for buying that house. So for example, if you're buying a house of £250,000, you should have an extra between like 2,500 to, you know, as high as 15,000 if you can, but at least 2,500 pounds to help you cover the other costs, so such as the legal fee, the surveys that you're going to do on the property, and also stamp duty if applicable. So you want to ensure that you save for this beyond just the deposit. Rule number 5 is to choose a fixed rate mortgage over a variable rate mortgage. So in case you don't know what this means, fixed rate means you lock in an interest rate for a certain period of time, and that's what you're paying. So that helps you know how much you're paying every single month, and it stays the same so that it's not fluctuating and you can do financial planning. So for example, you hear people be like, oh, I got a 3% interest rate for 2 years, or I got 4% interest rate for 5 years, meaning that in that space of 5 years their mortgage repayment is gonna be the same. But if you're on the variable rate, if your interest rates are going to change with the Bank of England rate. So what this means is today your repayment, for example, can be £1,200. Next month it can be £1,400. The following month it can be £700. So it's in your best interest to really consider like a fixed rate so that you know for certain how much you're to pay every single month, and it helps you do financial planning and financial forecasting. Because if you don't know how much your mortgage payment is going to be the next month, like there's really no way for you to like plan. So like fixed rates essentially provide some sense of stability for your finances, and also gives you peace of mind with how much you have to pay every single month. Rule number 6 is to have a maintenance budget of at least 1% of the value of the property. So once you become a landlord, don't forget you then become responsible for this house, which means you're gonna have to pay all added costs associated with having a house. This could mean if the boiler needs servicing, you need to pay for that servicing. Someone needs to come in and service the boiler. If you see a crack in the wall, you might need to fix that. I mean, if you buy a new build, there's the warranty that comes with it that can help you with that for the first couple of years. But point is, you need to just generally have like some savings. Even if you can't have 1% of the property, like the value of the property, you want to have some savings. Like every month put away like 20-30 pounds into a pot and be like house fixtures or house maintenance. And because trust me, something is going to break down. There's something that's going to happen, and you just need to be able to take money from somewhere and not like deep into your core savings. So you need to have money for maintenance of that property. And also some properties or developers, you know, it comes with an estate charge which you have to pay every single year. So point is, you need to save up a maintenance money. Now, rule number 7 is to research and compare mortgage rates. Okay, so a slight difference in your interest rates can mean a lot of savings, a lot of money saved in interest payments. So like someone that is on 3% and someone that is on 3.5%, that extra 0.5% could mean a lot of savings. So you want to ensure you are doing like proper comparison of the mortgage rates that are out there, and so you get the one that is the best deal for you. And one of the ways to really do this is to work with a mortgage advisor, because this is their field. Like they know what is obtainable and they can help represent your interest in the best possible way. So you want to ensure you're looking at different mortgage rates you're comparing. And also, if you're ready to buy a house and you have savings, I have partnered with some mortgage advisors, qualified mortgage advisors. You can book a free initial call. It's just the first call that is free, right? So they get to assess your situation and maybe work with you if you decide to proceed. Link in the description box below if you want to do that, if you're ready to buy. Some websites that you can use to compare rates is like Compare the Market or moneysupermarket.com. You can go on this website and like compare the different interest rates available and what's like out there, so that you ensure you're locking in the right one. Trust me, you want to do this, like you want to be very critical at this step. And we were very lucky during our house buying process that just I think a day to when we would sign the documents, our mortgage advisor found a lower rate, which we were so grateful for. So what that meant was it reduced about £150 from our monthly repayments, and so that slight change made a lot of difference. So you want to ensure you're finding the best mortgage rates and you're working with a mortgage advisor that understands your situation and will represent your interest in the best light. Rule number 8 is to buy with future value in mind, or consider future value. Now with property, you can't really predict, just like with any investment, you can't predict what's going to happen in the future, because past performance is not an indicator of future performance, right? But at the same time, there are things you can do to help the value of your property, or like to kind of like secure the value of your property. Look at amenities in the area. Is there a school close by? You want to look at that, because here's the thing: houses that are close to schools tend to sell more, because like tend to have higher value when they are being sold, because if a family moves in there, their kids can just walk to school. So that's something that you need to consider. Are there good schools in the areas? What amenities are there? Also, like future development, what plans? Like for example, if you're buying a new build, what plans do they have for the area? Are there things they're gonna do that's gonna probably help your property value appreciate? So these are things you have to think about when you're trying to buy. I have a first time home buyer's guide which details things like viewing checklist, questions to ask when you're viewing a property, the entire house buying process. It's all linked in the description box below, and it's currently on sale. So if you want to grab it now, link in the description box below. Rule number 9 is don't skip the survey and negotiate where you can. So as much as possible, it doesn't matter how perfect the property looks, ensure you get a property survey done, because there can be defects with the house that you can't really see, because that's not your field. So like it's good for you to get the property survey done, just to be sure that structurally the property is okay, aesthetically, how do they call it, decoratively, like basically everything is good with the property. And then also negotiate. I think this was one of the biggest mistakes that we made with our property. We did not negotiate, and looking in retrospect, I don't know why we did that. Negotiate, okay? Why I'm saying this is, after speaking to people living in the same like estate where we live, some people negotiated and they got like really good deals. So ensure to negotiate as much as you can. It doesn't even matter if that's the price they put on the brochure, or the price on the website, or the price you saw wherever. Point is, it doesn't mean it's not negotiable, okay? So please negotiate. Do not be scared to negotiate. Make sure to haggle that price as much as you can. Rule number 10 is take advantage of incentives for first-time buyers. So if you're a first-time buyer looking to buy a new build property, there are lots of incentives out there that developers currently offer. There's a deposit unlock, there's stamp duty payments, there's free upgrades, right, that different developers offer. So like deposit unlock, some developers will contribute up to 5% deposit to whatever you have. So if you have 5% deposit, they will give you 5%, so you now have 10% and you get better interest rates, okay? So ensure to utilize these incentives. Also, like I said, using a lifetime ISA to save, I'm going to do a detailed video on that. So you get money from the government as well in form of a bonus, just to boost your savings. If a developer did not advertise it, make sure to ask them that, oh, what incentives do you have for first-time buyers, and how can you help me get on the property ladder faster? All right, guys, so that's everything. So follow these rules and you'll be in a better place financially when you're buying a house, or when you buy a house. So always remember that buying a house is like the biggest financial purchase of your life. It's going to be the most expensive thing you're going to buy. So it's very important that you enter into it wisely, dot all your I's and cross all your T's. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment down below. Till next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.